Tucked inside Building 6, just near Alameda City Hall West, is Fire Station number 5. Not typically in use, but a treasure awaits behind those doors. So it might be hard to imagine, or it may be beyond belief. How do you get a rig restored from, well, a wreck? And here it is in the barn up in Alaska. The future didn't look very bright for number 2. So we have a group of RRs here, RR, that would be rig restorers, and we're going to talk to, for a moment, rig restorer Rich. Rich, what obsesses you, or explain this this labor of love, if not a method of madness?
It is a method of madness, trying to find parts for a 1920 fire engine. We find them all over the country, and we're just bringing the history back to the city and keeping history alive, the Alameda Fire Department history. See, we were founded in 1878. We had the first apparatus west of the mechanized apparatus west of the Mississippi, even before San Francisco and Oakland. So we're famous.
And so how long have you three, 1, 2, 3 on the end there, have been, shall we say, rig restorers for quite some time? Tell us a little bit about your group, your cohort here.
Well, I've brought these rigs back. This one from Canada, the other one in the back, the 1920. I negotiated it from the city of Sassoon, and the 65 over here has been with the city ever since. It's never left. Rich, I was here in 69. Rich came in 75, and he has helped. Ken is 78.
The newbie.
Yeah, right. So anyway, after we retired, I started the projects, and I just couldn't, I restore other cars, and it's a hobby. It's a sickness.
Do you lose sleep at night thinking about,
oh, you do.
New spark plugs?
I know how I can fix that old part, or I know where I can get it.
Came to you in a revelation, in a dream.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, these parts are not on the shelf, so you either make them or find them and build them back up.
That's something else. So what's been the most challenging bit of restoration, sort of single operation, because the whole enchilada's got to be...
It would have been the transmission on the 1920 Seagraves. It's a great story. So second gear was gone. So we took the whole transmission out of the engine, and lo and behold, the second gear was made in Alameda.
What?
Yeah, it was
in a foundry.
In a foundry on Clement.
Basically across from Station 1, Webb Avenue. It was Anderson Manufacturing.
Okay, all right. So anyway, it was a clue that it was stamped right on there, Alameda Fire. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Is there something like almost karmic? It's like somebody stumbles into this rig in Alaska, of all places, in some bush country, and here it is back home with a second gear that was made at the home spot but wasn't in the thing originally, even when it was brand new. This is like...
Well, it is. Other enthusiasts from not Alaska, but from British Columbia, they wanted to bring back the history to Alameda, and so it was put on me to go up there and look at it and find out, yeah, that's our apparatus, and then to acquire the funds to bring it back.
Do you feel, how far in your restoration are you, past the sort of maintenance and upkeep? Because you're getting the repaint here, thanks to John, on your hood cover, but is it pretty much like
It's ongoing. It's ongoing. There's it's like an old wooden boat. If you don't keep moving it, it falls off, falls apart, rusts. or brakes.
Or like people.
Yep. Yeah. Wow.
The exercise.
Hey, it's 100. Then 1920 Seagraves is over 100 years old and it's still running.
Look at this
How old are you?
piece of machinery,
68.
this piece of aesthetic beauty. And what we have here is a true testament to labors of love. So just this year, prior to the 4th of July parade in 2022, the hood of the rig went from this, lo and behold, to this, thanks to the handiwork of master gold leaf glass artist and painter John Frankel. In a bay right next door to the Seagrave rig sits the engine's hood, under restoration by master gold leaf glass painter and artist John Frankel. Hey John, tell us a little bit about what is going on with your piece of this preservation and restoration project.
Well, this rig was in Alameda back in 1935. Did about 30 years of its time, and then was sold to a city up in Alaska. So it got shipped up there, I guess in the 60s, and it sat there for about another so many years, and then it was sold to someone in British Columbia. So it sat there until some years back. They were informed City Alameda tried to hunt this rig down, got it back and shipped it down here. So now it sits here at the firehouse, and they had the hood redone. It got repainted, reprimed, and everything. And then I was asked 4 years ago to do the lettering, the Alameda Fire Department on there, and then I was called back again to come back and finish it off a little bit. So add a little more detail to it. Put the number 7 on and put a gold border around it, 23 karat gold leaf. And that's what I've been working on.
So how long does a project hand painted by you? How long does this take? How many hours of your...
You know, I've never really kept track of it. I'm just trying to go by what old photographs of what was on here at one time and try to copy what's on the rig next door. On the fuel tank, the number 7 and the gold boiler goes around, and the little filigree that goes around on the engine 7, basically.
Tell us about some of your painter's equipment here.
Okay, I have a variety of things that make me get to this point. The size that's on the gold that holds on there is kind of like a clear varnish, and then the gold is applied on with gold leaf on wax paper, and then it sticks only to what is on there right now. Then it dries, and then you remove the excess, which you can see on the floor here. I don't sweep up the dirt because I don't want it to get on the paint, and so I just leave it alone. You'll see it on the other side there.
This is actual gold. It's not
This is actual gold leaf, correct. This is gold leaf. So this is what you see here, and this is how this was applied on here. And then I cut out the wax paper and then transfer that over gold leaf onto the wax. And then I lay that leaf on here to get that effect. And then the excess is removed with like a mop brush here. And then I come back and I burnish it with a piece of cotton. So you can see, yeah, the leaf is laying around here. It's over there.
It's like a foil.
Yeah, but it can disintegrate with you in seconds. You can rub it between your fingers and it'd be gone.
So
That's
what
how
keeps
delicate.
what keeps this delicate gold leaf preserved from the elements and
Okay,
dirt?
Gold leaf is how you would say is not indestructible. They put it on statues, flagpoles, state capitals. It can last the weather, rain, shine, sun, and everything. It's indefinite, basically. But here to keep it clean, so if someone didn't want to wash this rig, I have to put clear varnish over the gold leaf to protect it from that element. So if we came by and I didn't put anything on here, I could rub that gold leaf off here right now as we speak.
How long does this varnish last in terms of protecting?
Oh, it's just as long as they take good care of it and don't scrub it with the scouring pads, it will last as long as the rig is sitting here. You know, it's indestructible. It's pretty good.
So what exactly are you doing now on this? Are you almost done, or?
No. I have to put the clear varnish on here. I got to add a pinstripe. I got to add some shadowing on the 7 and the filigree over here on the side. And if you see on the fuel tank on the other side, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's got more detail. So what I'm doing here is I have to put the varnish on, and then I got to put a pinstripe here of white. Eventually it goes on. That's why I'm laying this out now, so I can see where it is.
So something else. Is this like, give me a hand here. This is somebody's idea of a morbid joke or your artistic
that's
inspiration?
First aid, basically, gurney. They stuck the hood and stuck it on there, and it's been sitting on there for the last 4 years. When I touched this 4 years ago, it was sitting on the same gurney, and the same guy laying underneath there. So that hasn't changed.
He doesn't move much.
No, and what they do is that's like to a rescue in their fire drills, to up downstairs, up and down, drag them on the ground. If you had to drag another fireman or another person, and that's what they train it. It's like basically a dummy, like a traffic dummy that sits in the car. It's basically what it is. But it weighs like a normal person too, so it's not light. You have to learn how to drag that yourself.
And this must be of special interest to you because you're a former retired Berkeley firefighter, City of Berkeley.
Years, yes, I did this, and then a friend of mine taught me how to pinstripe, and before he passed, Kerry Greenwood was his name, great mentor. And he says, John, learn from the best. I said, what do you mean, Kerry? He says, well, he never learned how to do lettering. He didn't do gold leaf. He didn't do airbrushing. So he says, if you can, learn from the people that are good at it. And so he said, you'll be one step ahead of me, because he said he always had to sub that out to someone else to do that kind of work. So I'm trying, I guess, a trick of all trades, basically, here is what I'm doing.
So next time you see the rig rolling down the streets of Alameda in the amazing Alameda 4th of July parade, you'll know a little bit of the rest of the story. Mm-hmm. So Rich Bennett, you have invested no insubstantial part of your life, your heart, your soul into restoring this 1935 rig. Tell us about the nostalgia, preservation, and legacy piece of your mission.
Well, our whole thing is to save, salvage, and keep the legacy apparatus of the City of Alameda Fire Department, with the hopes of passing it off into the future generations of firefighters and the citizens of Alameda. Because all these rigs belong to the citizens of Alameda. They don't belong just to the fire department. So we're hopeful to preserve them in such a way that they still operate, they still drive, they can see them in parades or at static display events around the city. And but the whole idea is to keep passing it forward. If you think it's since 1935 and ours is 1920, maybe it'll go into 2120. Keep it going. Just keep it going forward, and in a manner that everybody can enjoy.
What kind of responses do you get from, this is also a training center out behind me for, new firefighter recruits or the academy. What kind of reactions or impressions does the younger generation, probably more like millennial age, have to your pet project here?
They're curious. They know some of the history of the fire apparatus. They're curious of the fact that they have such old apparatus and how they were so simple in the old days, and they have a certain beauty about them. And so they're kind of interested in it, and we try to get them encouraged to come and ask questions, and hopefully they will take care of them after we're gone.
So do you think you're inculcating values of respect for, historical artifacts and nostalgia and kind of windows into the past?
Everything, yeah, exactly. All the above, yeah. And, it's a shame. A lot of times we have like a throwaway society, and that's kind of not us. Everything is salvageable the way we look at it. Because a lot of times we have to actually make things or figure out a way, improvise to do things.
And not limited to the motor, which is a 6-cylinder dual ignition system. You've had to get like new gaskets, New exhaust
The new exhaust
manifold.
manifold had to be cast.
And take this and redo it to this. That's more than nostalgia preservation.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole idea of making the rig operational and keeping it operational, keeping it running. So that way more people can enjoy it too.
And I bet it keeps you guys, this project keeps you running as well.
Yeah, it keeps us going. We have a lot of fun. We get together, have a work party. We're all retired. We get out, gets us out of the house and makes the wives happy. We go away for a while.
So believe it or not, to end this missive, this is called a jingle bell. This is Larry Freeman for Alameda Neighborhoods News.